All right, here we go again. 5 o'clock track just came out. If you're tuning in to Talk to Tom, I appreciate that. We're going to go live right now, giving everyone a look-see at what to expect with this nasty situation in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm Tom Sorrells, meteorologist here in Orlando, Florida for the last, 25 years, quarter of a century at the powerful KMG. Now I'm retired, so I'm just hanging out doing social media. Hanging loose here in the southwest corner of Orange County, watching and waiting for all of this to arrive, and it is on the way, gang. I don't think there's any getting out of it. Florida is going to be ground zero for the bullseye of this thing to come ashore. People are asking, how big is it? Well, it's not. It's not super big. Let me take me out of the picture and you look. There's the storm right now. That is Hurricane Milton. It is a hurricane. It has been most of the afternoon here. It's been a hurricane. The activity that we've been watching earlier today built and built and built. It is intensifying rapidly. It is a hurricane, and it's going to be ugly before all is said and done. So that's what it looks like right now. I'll put me back in to bounce around and look at what's going on. Here's the path, the projected movement. Right now, it's a Category 1 hurricane with wind speeds hanging in there at about 85 miles per hour. That's really tight, really small, really tight, compact storm for the moment. A few hundred miles across. It's not filling up the entire Gulf of Mexico. I mean, look at it real quick. This is what the storm looks like right now. So take me out of it. That's it right there, wound in that little basin, the bottom of the Bay of Campeche. So a few hundred miles across, that's about it. And the wind speed probabilities are coming our way. Hold on, where'd it go? There's the tracks. I want to show you that. That's what the storm looks like on wind right now. Tropical storm force winds extend out maybe 150 miles from center, but the hurricane force winds are packed in pretty tight around the eye. So right now, it's not really a huge storm. Only problem is it's going to do nothing but grow. It's not improbable that it's going to become huge by the time it makes landfall, and I'll explain why that is in just a moment. For now, it's a tightly compact, wound in there, really small, nasty little hurricane with wind speeds of 85. It's only going to continue to grow as we work our way through the next 24, 48, 72 hours before landfall Wednesday into Thursday. Hey, Michael Phillips, good thing you're in town, settling in, good for you. Papa John's Pizza's the best. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about what happens next and where it goes. Here are the models of everything we've been looking at during the day today. All the same stuff the National Hurricane Center does look at during their deciding process. So we talked about this earlier today on the 11 o'clock advisory when it came out. They are loath to windshield wiper back and forth, so that's not going to happen. Earlier today, some of the models are trending a little farther south, so they nudge the track south, and it's sitting there now. These models are almost dead on to where they were earlier. To me, it looks like a couple of them might have shot back to the north, but they didn't shoot back to the north. They inched. Starting to really look more certain, scary for me and scary for everyone along the Gulf Coast too, about how certain this is going to be. You know, it's not going to be another Charlie. No, it's not. Hey, Jad. Good to see you on here, man. Thank you for tuning in. It's Jad Denmark, the Reverend at St. Luke's United Methodist Church, my church of choice. Your kids been preparing for a while on the way back from Ohio. Good deal, Tammy. Get down here and bunker in. Anyway, it's not going to be a la Charlie in that it intensifies rapidly overnight, but it's going to intensify rapidly over the coming days. Unlike Charlie, it's going to hit some shear right in its last 12 to 24 hours, right before it does make landfall. That might be a saving grace in one way. But have you ever watched the skaters? I know everyone loves the skaters on the Olympics when they're spinning around in a circle. That's called conserving your angular momentum. When you go in a circle, you pull your arms in real tight and speed up. That is called the conservation of angular momentum. It's a property in physics or a law of physics. So you pull in, you tighten up. So when that happens, the storm gets really tight and mean. If it hits that shear, it's got a hurricane that was built to Category 3 or maybe Category 4 status, and instead of tightening on up, it expands. And the hurricane itself expands out, which means even though the wind speeds have died down maybe 10, 15, 20 miles per hour and dropped, it's like a Cat 2, it has widened out. So now a big entire area gets smashed with a Category 2 storm. That would mean the impact spread farther along the coast and more souls are in danger of hitting a Category 2 storm. And the storm surge will have been built by a Category 4 storm, I think. I think it's going to go Cat 4. What are they saying on the look of it now? I think I just killed the track there. What they're saying on the look of it now is that it's going to be a nasty situation, a bad storm. Hold on, I'll get it back up and see what they're saying about the actual life of this thing as it rolls its way on in. And what they're saying about the track. Or they have it Prog 2? I think they had it Prog 2. Only a Cat 3. Oh, they're just saying major storm. Okay. So here's the deal, Pickle. When you're looking at a storm like this, and you're talking about where it's going to go and how it's going to be, we do pretty well. Pretty doggone well with the path. We don't do great with the strength. We know it's going to rage. Some of the wind models are pushing it upwards of a Category 3 to almost Category 4. So even though they'll list it as like a 3, I don't see any reason why it couldn't get to Category 4 status. Maybe approach something higher before it makes landfall. Again, before it makes landfall, it should hit a little bit of shear and weaken just a tad. So back to what it looks like right now. That's what the storm system looks like for the moment. Here's a still shot, give you an idea of the blossoming in the middle. All that big eruption is not good, but it's close to the eye. It's tightened up. And I got to tell you, Melissa, it's bugging me too. Now's the time to prepare. You need a bunker in place. There's no need if you're in central Florida to evacuate. I'm sure the big evacuations along the coast will start to pump on up. Flooding, we are under a flood advisory. I'll show you that in a moment. We've got rain on the way in a big way. Here's the path of projected movement again. There's the rain that we're looking for. And if you watched earlier today, they had us 4 to 8 inches, and they still do. But now we're talking 4 to 8 inches of rain easily. Some spots could get upwards of 8, 9, 10. That piece you're seeing right in there that turns orange, goes from yellow to kind of a different yellow to an orange, a darker yellow to an orange. That's the zone we think will get the biggest rain. This current rain actually legit is not tied to the hurricane. It's not. If you go back to the Goes East satellite shot, see this frontal zone right in there, that front? That's a front. It's kind of coming into central Florida, trying to push in. And a little bit of tropical moisture in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. That's the reason you had such a rainy Sunday today. This rain today and tomorrow is legit not tied. Get off there. Is legit not tied to the storm itself. It's not. It's tied to the little moisture that's in the Gulf of Mexico and the front that's dying to the north of us. So once that dies out, couldn't do much outside today. Hey man, that's what rain gear's for. I wore my big, old, ugly yellow rain jacket and got outside and tightened things up, cleaned out a gutter. It's important. Got that cleared out so the water will flow the right way. And got the dog walked twice so we can be ready for tomorrow and beyond. Back to the tracks. Here's the modeling. Again, they nudge around, but they haven't changed significantly. There's been no big major departure. And the storm itself is not moving quickly. See that right there? It says it's moving east at 7. It's going actually just south of east at 7. So it's almost easterly, but kind of dipping. Take me out. You see how close it comes to the Yucatan. Right there. It's going to come close to the northern part of the Yucatan Peninsula in the next 24 hours. Hello, Greenbrier people. That's Kelly Gregory is here. Kelly Gregory Duke and Rebecca. That's Becky Green. What's up, Becky? Tomorrow will not be terrible, Michael. Tomorrow's going to be an okay day. You can get stuff done. It's still going to rain and be ugly. By terrible in my standards, no. Terrible for your standards, a tourist or local Turon coming to town. You're probably going to think it's kind of an ugly day. It's going to be blowy. It's going to be wet. It's going to be rainy again. Doing all our hurricane preps in the rain, unrelated to the hurricane itself. But by Tuesday, things are going to start to change around here, and it's going to become windy. This is the graphic that shows the arrival of the tropical storm force winds. Keep in mind, these are not the arrival times of the hurricane force winds, but the tropical storm force winds. Should make it to our coast by about Tuesday at 8 p.m. And then by Wednesday morning when you wake up, it's going to be blowing pretty heavily. It's going to be another blustery run all across central Florida. Then Wednesday night would be the arrival. So you're talking about a time in the immediate metropolitan Orlando area, everyone up and down the central part of Florida, probably going to be dealing with tropical storm force winds by Wednesday morning, hurricane force winds most likely by Wednesday night, and then by Thursday morning it's all leaving us. And by Thursday at 8 a.m. it's way out. Everything's calmed down. It's cleanup day. Hopefully we get the power back. There will be a lot of power outages. It could be ugly. So, yeah, I'm sure they did cancel the train for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because you can't depend on it. You simply cannot. So anyway, back to the storm. So what it looks like right now. Here's a quick update. We'll run through this one more time. And gang, listen, if you have questions about what you should do and where you're going, leave them here. I'll come back tonight after dinner and probably try to answer them. If I don't get to them, I'm sorry. I'll be back in the morning. But you just arrived yesterday. You're going to have to hang out. Oh, yeah, you're not planning on going anywhere anyway. Trying to get out of here right now, if you're going to try to leave and miss the hurricane, go Tuesday. Get out of here Tuesday by midday. It's going to be a lot of folks trying to leave. Hopefully you drove and you could drive yourself out. Trying to fly, I'm not sure when the flight's going to be shut down. But it won't be tomorrow. If you have friends coming in tomorrow, if you're trying to get out tomorrow, you're good to go. Tomorrow the wind's going to be 5 to 10 miles per hour, like today. Unless you're close to a thunderstorm, nothing bad tomorrow. Nothing bad Tuesday until late in the overnight. By the time we wake up Wednesday morning, you're going to be able to tell that the wind is howling, things are starting. And then Wednesday night and Thursday is going to be a tough run around these parts. One of the worst weather days we've had in a long, long time. So, hey, Scotty, thanks for tuning in, cuz. Good to see you here. Tad, what do you think will happen in Daytona Beach on the I-4 corridor? Well, that's the problem, Tad. There's a lot of uncertainty as to where the storm ends up going. Here's that track, the path of projected movement. You'll notice the cone is narrowing. We're running out of wiggle room from update to update. So it's going to hit the Gulf Coast somewhere between Tampa and Fort Myers, most likely. My guess is that line, that direct black line, that we always tell you, don't pay attention to the black line. I got a feeling that's where the high storm surge is going to be. And right now I can't really estimate what the storm surge is going to be. It's going to be ugly, though. It's going to be ugly. Can I sign your note? No, bro. Not a medical doctor. Can't get you out of going to work. But I've got a feeling that a lot of people will be out of work. Hey, thank you very much, Lori. It's kind of you to say. How bad will it be in Marion County, Bellevue area? It's going to be rough. It's going to be a tough run. If this thing comes in right there, some of the tropical storm force winds, the hurricane force winds are going to get to you. Hey, Michelle. What's up? How are you? So anyway, be ready for it. Now's the time to prepare. Trim everything back if you can. And pick up the stuff out of your yard. Like your trash cans, secure the stuff that's out there. Branches, pieces of furniture. I pulled most of mine around today. I'll spend Tuesday doing the rest of it. But we're talking about a long run here with a lot of high wind that could be possible. This thing makes landfall as a Cat 3. Normally, hurricanes cut in half for every 6 hours they are over land. It's only moving at 7 miles per hour now. That will not be what it does when it comes through here. When it comes through here, it should be moving on over to the east-northeast at better than 15 to 20. I don't think it's going to come through at 30. No, but I think it's going to speed up and come through 15 to 20. And that means we'll be dealing with it, hurricane force winds, for maybe as much as 6 hours. You know, some spots are going to really take this rough. Trees will come down. There will be canopy damage. If you think back to 2004, even if it's a 3 or 4 on the coast, by the time it gets here, it's still a 1. So it could get winds of 75 gusting to 90 in spots somewhere in Central Florida, if not where you live. And what that does is that doesn't take your roof. 90-mile-per-hour winds don't take the whole roof off. What it does is it brings stuff down on top of your roof. Trees, debris, other homes that fail, pieces come toward you, flying projectiles and falling trees. We get the canopy damage. So there you go. No, it's not going to be like Ian, Melissa. It's not going to be like Ian at all, in that it's not going to produce 30 inches of rain. It's going to move on quicker than that. It's not going to be that much of a rainmaker. I believe it's going to come through and drop 8, 10 inches of rain max. That's what I'm thinking. That's what the modeling indicates right now. Once it crosses over, can it catch strength? No, it's not going to hit elsewhere. That front, that same front I was talking about, is going to take care of that, because it's going to boom, hit and ride the front and go out to the east. Open waters, the Atlantic, we believe. So the Carolinas are safe. One of my favorite places, as you know, is the Grand Strand. Heather, I'd be ready for this. I'd get ready. You're going to have wind speeds coming in from the east-northeast, 5 to 10 tomorrow, picking up through the week. Tuesday, it's going to start to blow. You get tropical storm force winds, no doubt. Look at the arrival here of the winds. There's the tracks we're talking about. There's the arrival time of the wind. So by 8 a.m., by Wednesday morning, and the track is going to take it right up through here, right where the end of the day is Wednesday, 8 a.m., Wednesday, 8 p.m., tropical storm force winds arriving. That's not the hurricane force winds. That's the onset of tropical storm force winds. So by Thursday, we're done. Thursday, late Thursday, it's all over, except for the cleanup. I think Wednesday right now is the time. Keep in mind, all of that's in flux. Could end up doing something totally different in that it could slow down, widen out. Again, if you're just now at my uncle's evacuating from Fort Myers, that's a smart move. Same thing for Eustis, Michelle Bruce. Same thing for Eustis. It's going to come through Lake County, probably as a tropical storm, good strong tropical storm, or on this track could be a Cat 1 hurricane through that area. So a lot will depend on where it goes in the next 24 hours and how fast it accelerates. Sumter County, same thing. Sumter Lake County, same thing. Well, it's not as wide as it could be, Michael. Let's go back to that cone and talk about that. Notice how it's starting to chop in. Day 4, day 5, error of the cone is about 150 miles. Day 3, down to about 100 miles. And the cone is where we think the center is going to go. That's not the area of damage. Okay, so like we had trees down, power outages here from Helene, and Helene stayed in the open water. That eye never got close to us, never, ever, and yet we had impacts all through a large part of Central Florida, mostly west into Marion County. Tough run, you know. The eye went up inland north of Cedar Key. Cedar Key got slammed, so it's not a spot. A hurricane's not a pinpoint. This is not going to be a small, tight little hurricane like Charlie. It's going to expand to be big. Much more on the size of an end, but moving enough that we don't get 30 inches of rain. Yeah, everyone's prayer against prayer, though, at this point, Michael. So you sit there and you hope, oh, gosh, let it go somewhere else. All the people in those spots are praying that it comes to you, while you're praying that it goes to them. I get confused on what to pray for at that point, because prayer against prayer, I mean, what good does that do? Hey, Brian O'Keefe, how you doing, brother, man? Tell me you're up there in Michigan. Hope that you are, and not here. Marianne's Guard, Brevard County. Well, Marianne, if it comes through the way they have this running right now, look at that track. That puts a Category 1 hurricane eye right through Brevard County. Bigger than Butch. I mean, coming in from the west, who would have thunk it? We'll have a better idea, Jay Brewer, on Monday night. Yes, and here's the deal. It will move better. It will move tomorrow. It will accelerate. It will pick up the tempo. And we'll get an idea of where it's going. But let's be well heard again. I want to go back to that idea of this is not a point. This is going to expand to be a bigger hurricane. The hurricane force winds are going to expand out. So are the tropical storm force winds once it hits shear. So between now and Tuesday, it's going to rage. Be a big, tightened up, nasty. Category 3 might get to Category 4. Higher wind speed before it starts to hit a little bit of shear. And when that shear hits it, boom. Start to slow the progress down a little bit, tear it up. It won't be building anymore. But once it starts to slow up a bit on the wind speeds, they expand out because the energy has to release somewhere. So it's spinning tight like one of those little ice skaters and figure skaters. It's tightened up, spinning tight, and then throws their arms out and stops. Or if you're in karate, you're spinning the kick, you tighten it, boom, you expand it, boom, that kick out. It expands out. And when it expands out, suddenly more people are hit. It becomes a bigger, wider. It's going to look like it fills up the eastern side of the Gulf of Mexico is what it's going to look like by Wednesday at landfall. Okay. Hey, Michelle, good luck at that birthday 2 weeks from today. What side of the hurricane is known as the worst side? Wherever the hurricane's traveling. If you're looking straight at it, to the right-hand side, that first quadrant. So normally if the hurricane's northbound, we say it's from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. But in this case, it's going to be from like 2 o'clock down to about 5 on that particular map because it's heading this way. Since it's heading this way, turn the clock on its side or do the time on its side. So the right-hand side down to the bottom is going to be the worst quadrant of the storm. Why are Weather Channel's predicting to go down to a Cat 3 from 4 before hitting the west coast? The water is warm, but Donna, it's going to hit a little bit of shear. That's the reason. I haven't watched the Weather Channel. I don't know what they're forecasting because I don't care what they're forecasting. But, I mean, you know, do you think that will be over so long time? No, not a long time, Melissa, but it'll be moving about 20 miles per hour. I think the eye will probably be 15 or 20 miles across, if not farther. It might widen out, it might unfurl a little bit and be a 30-mile eye. Who knows? We'll have to see what the modeling does and what it does in real time. So we'll wait and see how that happens. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. My family's home. It's time to eat dinner. I haven't seen Thing 3 all week. She's been in San Francisco on a work trip, so I want to go see her. I know she's here. Hey, Sarah. How you doing, Fred? I want to go see my kid. And, yeah, I'm wrapping it up already. You tell him, Sharon. I'm wrapping it up. Not much more to tell. There's the track. Here are the models. They're not changing much. We'll know more about where the eye is going to land. Hurricane force winds start around here Wednesday evening, but the tropical storm force winds should arrive between about 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Wednesday morning. Get ready for that. Storm system does not look overly impressive right now, but it is intensifying rapidly. I will be here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with another update. How's that? Is that right? Yeah, let's just shoot for that. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., talk to Tom. Be there, be square. Hey, Hags. Good to see you, brother. Make your preparations, gang. Get ready. Get ready. Because even if the eye goes south or north, the impacts are coming. There's no getting away from it. It's going to be a tragic run. I'd like to tell you right now that everyone's going to make it through if you do the right things. It's almost always someone that screws up, stays in a structure they shouldn't, goes out at the height of the storm, or makes a mistake and gets taken away from us. So do be careful. Do be careful. And prep now. Get ready. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you mañana.